This is way up here. Matt is a pretty impressive young man, and Charlie always expresses such a love of life. It's hard to follow this. Good morning. Isn't this a great day to be alive? My family and I began coming here to Manhattan Beach Community Church in the mid-1990s. Before that, we'd done some church shopping and not found a comfortable fit. About the same time, my brother and sister-in-law had begun attending this church, and they invited us to visit the church. We did, and we liked the excellent Sunday school program, and the congregation welcomed us. I developed a strong faith in God as a child. I managed to stay involved with the church throughout most of college, a first marriage, several years of bachelorhood. When I moved back to California from Washington, D.C., I didn't find a church home. Not that I didn't try. I visited more than one, but I didn't feel comfortable. I never felt welcomed. Through my job, I did find a wonderful woman, Chris, and she and I got married. We came from different religious backgrounds and didn't find a church that satisfied both of us. Over the next few years, we had 2 sons. When our boys got to a certain age, we realized that we needed to find a place where they could learn about God, where we were both comfortable. Not that we had neglected teaching them about God at home. Peter, our oldest son, was born a few days before Easter. Excuse me. Peter was born a few days before Easter, and on Easter morning I held him in my arms and read him his first Bible story, the entire book of 1 Peter. I'm not much of a singer, but the lullaby that I sang to both my boys was one of my favorite hymns. That is the hymn that was played just before I began to speak. The name of the music is listed in the bulletin, but the name of the hymn is Mother's Evening Prayer, and it includes the line, "Keep thou my child on upward wing tonight." That was my prayer for them. In order to keep them going in an upward direction, we knew we needed the support of a church community to help them establish their relationship with God. Our sons responded well to the Sunday school program here at MBCC. I remember more than once during the coffee hour, one of the boys still talking to his Sunday school teacher, and later wanting to tell us what he had learned. There were youth activities and programs that involved them. They participated in youth Sunday service, and attended confirmation classes. I won't embarrass Nicholas, our youngest, by repeating what Nancy Kay reminded us last Sunday about his participation. Let's just say he participated in his own way. Despite taking a unique path, Nicholas still learned a great deal here. For example, in the confirmation classes, he learned tolerance of other religions. As a result, he stood up for the freedom of others to believe as they were taught, even when it meant being ridiculed by an adult. Nicholas knew he was doing the right thing because of what he learned. Here at MBCC, we found a place to support our efforts to teach our boys about God. Over time, we were absorbed into the church community. We joined one of the church social groups, the Mariners, and one night, in a fit of whimsy, they selected us as skippers. Through the Mariners and other social activities, we got to know more members of the congregation. Here we found friendships and support. Even though I volunteer a lot in some other community organizations and have friends in them, when I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, it was only family and Mariner friends that came to comfort me. Here we found friends to socialize with that had the same values we did, people who wanted God in their lives and in their children's lives. Here we found friends we could count on. More than anything, I found a place to worship. There are many things that we can get from the Sunday services: education about the Bible, motivation to be a better person, a stronger sense of spirituality, a feeling of being part of a community, and the opportunity to worship. Worship has always been the most important part of attending church to me. Through service on the diaconate board, I was given an opportunity to delve even deeper into worship. I had started attending many of the special worship services like Maundy Thursday. At an Ash Wednesday service, Reverend Ray taught us a way to construct a prayer. He used their acronym ACTS, ACTS, to help us remember the 4 parts of a prayer. Adoration, expressing our love and respect for God. Confession, acknowledging our shortcomings. Thanksgiving, expressing our gratitude for what God has given us. And supplication, asking God for continued blessings. Until then, my prayer has been primarily prayers of thanksgiving. His discussion helped me to understand the importance of confession as well as of adoration and supplication. I've found that particularly helpful. On another occasion, John Calhoun asked me to serve as the worship assistant. Part of that task is leading the Lord's Prayer. As I prepared myself to do so, I was led to study the different versions of the prayer and read commentaries on the prayer. This, too, helped me to learn more about how to pray. Here I found a place to worship and to build up my relationship with God. More recently, I've gotten to know Pastor Michael. Getting to know him and spending time talking with him has been very fruitful. Earlier this year, when my mother passed on, his compassion helped me to deal with my loss. My mother was deeply religious. As she approached the end of her time on this mortal existence, she lost her ability to relate to the world around her. I spent many days and nights at her side, and often the only thing that could penetrate the cloud around her were her favorite prayers and religious passages. After praying the Lord's Prayer or reciting the 23rd Psalm, she would be calm and lucid for a while. This time with her was excruciating and exhausting. Still, it was important that I be with her. Michael and I talked on the phone and in person. He helped me to face my pain and helped me to find the strength I needed. I drew strength from him. When she ultimately passed on, he helped me to find peace. And then words and messages of condolence came from so many people in this congregation. The love and sympathy expressed by members of this church lifted me up. This is not to say that there was not support and love from my family, for there was, and it was incredible. Still, the staff and members of MBCC provided a different kind of support, a kind of support that I am tremendously grateful for. Here I found help in a time of need. I think that I'm like many here at Manhattan Beach Community Church when I say the things that drew me and my family to this church were the Sunday school for my children and the welcoming attitude. With our children grown and doing their own thing, what keeps us here are the relationships, the pastoral supports, and opportunities to grow spiritually. The loving action Craig and Sherry, my brother and sister-in-law, took when they invited us to visit this church was one that we can all emulate. It benefits the person you share church with, it benefits the church, and thus it benefits you. Participating in the social and spiritual aspects of this church has been a profoundly blessing for me, and I believe it will be the same for anyone who does it. Amen.